So Kate's story on how I became a veteran advocate actually starts all the way back around the time that I got out of high school. I actually went to college, went to a Christian university, and I sort of didn't know exactly what I wanted to be. And that summer when I came home, I decided to go into the service. And I originally thought, well, I'm going to go in the Air Force. It's a good path for me. I think I'll be a good fit there. But through a crazy set of circumstances, I ended up in the Marine Corps, which is about the hardest place to serve, if at all, let alone be a woman. We only make up 6% of that particular service. But in the Marine Corps, I broke 2 ribs, broke my right ankle, my right elbow. I actually smashed my nose and eye socket, got a 5-inch laceration on my face, had to go through a whole how do I feel about how I look sort of thing. And then I was also assaulted as a virgin. And all of that, put it in a bag, shake it all up. It's pretty profound what it does to your physical being, to your emotionality, just to your spirit to go through so much. But I chose to look at it and give myself the gift of grit and resiliency. And it really has changed my life. If I could get in a time machine, I would go back and do it again, even if I had to go through all of that, because what it did was give me empathy and help me understand other people's struggle. And so I got out of the service early because of all of those injuries and sort of carried on with my life. I was not getting compensated, never been really recognized by the VA for all of these horrible things that happened to me. And about 10 years after service, I decided to get myself rated and compensated. I used a free service, the DAV, which did a decent job. It took about 18 months though, and I ended up getting a decent rating, and I sort of thought, well, that's where the train stops there, at that rating. They did not claim my military sexual trauma and some other of my stomach issues and some other things that came from being under an inordinate amount of stress. So another lots of years went by, and I realized, hey, I actually can get myself rated for this trauma. I can get myself rated for all these other things. And then I ended up around the time of COVID opening up a used car dealership up in Oceanside, California. I know, great timing right before COVID, but I didn't have a crystal ball. I ended up being the only dealership open. On the side of the building, I put veteran owned and operated. I didn't know that that would be a bat signal to the sky to invite every veteran and active duty personnel to the dealership to get a car. And one after another, I started to realize they didn't have the funds to get the car. But I knew if I could get them rated and compensated, they would be able to buy a car from me. So about 200 people in, help Bob brings me Dennis, brings me James, on and on and on. I started thinking, this is a problem that needs solving, because I have yet to meet a single veteran so far that is rated and compensated, or that's rated and compensated for the amount that they should be. So I ripped the whole industry apart and realized that 70% of veterans never get rated for anything, meaning they're not collecting $1. So 70% of veterans are leaving nearly $1 trillion every few years on the table. Here in San Diego, it's roughly $4 billion that goes unclaimed just by the veterans that live in our county. And so I developed VetCom. I wanted to address people feeling that they don't deserve it, maybe thinking somebody served bigger and better than they did. They didn't know that they could. Maybe I'm the first person that ever told them that they could get rated and compensated. Or the people that tried and failed, or just said, hey, you know what, you're not allowed to get rated, so just march on with your life. And so now that we've helped about 14,000 people get $4.3 billion, it's something I'm pretty proud of. And our goal this year is to help about 30,000 people. And we're just going to march on until we eventually help 1 million of those unrated veterans.